StarLadder have kicked things off with a bang here in our opening day of the second week for Group B. 25 points, 15 kills, and that first place alongside them. Let's see if they can keep it up, and let's see who else might be able to step it up, because we had a fair few names, Toby, of a similar kind of way of what we've seen of Se7en being up there, PG18 looking good as well, Desperado's again hanging in it. But the big surprise really was Tornado. They had a tough time. It didn't work out well for them. Yeah. We saw a new style come out from Winside, who are currently sat in 6th place, you can see on your screens. They held off 4AK and were not going to allow them to rotate easily from military base. And I like that, right? Because that now means always 4AK are going to sit there and think, wait a second, do we have to watch out for this potentially?
Also the fact that it was Winside, because it's VG who normally loots around the ferry pier area. So they're like, where are they? Wait, how? What? Why did they do this?
They had a vendetta against 4AK. They were just like, we're going to go really out of our way, away from the circle, just to hold them off.
I mean, it wasn't the furthest that they went. It's just the fact that they decided to do that when the circle would have, I mean, under normal circumstances, forced them to go the opposite direction. But again, any point you can get is a point well earned, and they got themselves 2 of it on the bridge camp right there. So for sure, as you said right there, James, they are going to have to think twice next time they decide on which bridge they have to cross over.
Yeah, it's never an easy decision to make, especially when you know teams will also try and challenge it a little bit. Moonwolf looked to be going over towards Novo this time, so back to sharing it with 4AK.
Interested in seeing if Tarlans is going to go for the same split they did last game, and seems to me that they are. I'm curious as to why they decide to do it like that. One guy in Ruins, one guy in Watertown, and then you have the 2 compounds just in between School and Pachinki that they split up as well. It makes sense. I mean, the loot there is decent. It's just that there's so many teams around them. You have a designated Rozhok team. You have a team looting in School and Apps. You have a team Pachinki, and you have Gatka taking by BG as well. There are other areas, I would say, on the map where they would be allowed to get easier rotations out. Because look at this, we talked about this before, whereas if you're the edge team, sure, oftentimes you have to go further, but you have less to worry about. I mean, you don't have to know as much on what all the other teams are doing, but if you look at where Tarlans are right now, they have teams everywhere around them. And well, I mean, odds are they'll have to go south and not 4AK. They can postpone their second guessing because they don't have to worry about that military game at all.
I love that. We talk about the whole bridge thing. What will 4AK do? Which are they going to go from now? Nah, they just don't have to go anywhere. Just may as well just chill, see if they can hold on to it. Now, we've had 2 military-based circles before last week, and both times 4AK. One time they went up to Stalber, it was unlucky. It was like, oh, what? And the second time they were on, and they weren't able to win. So military base doesn't necessarily guarantee that they're going to be able to take the win here, but they should try and hold a lot of teams at bay.
Let's see, for us, they're getting into their vehicles, should be getting going momentarily. Question is, though, you're within distance. I mean, they're looting up in the just on the northeastern side of Shelter. You're close enough to make an early rotation, but you're also far enough to say, you know, we'll just play edge in this one. What do you want to do in this situation? Seems to me like they're actually going all the way out east, and this makes sense to me because they saw the plane. It went up over military to the west, like with a little bit of a western kind of point there. They're saying we are the most eastern team. Why not just go out and take control over the boats and sail on over?
And it's certainly an option that could be used, and also really hinder a lot of the other teams who may want to go and fight, especially ones rotating down from north, like you were saying.
For sure. I mean, keep in mind, Moonwolf didn't make it all the way over to Mills of Power like we saw them do last game. They were on their way in that direction, and then when the circle popped, they're like, nah, you know what? I think we'll just stay on the bridge or stay on the military island rather than try and cross over to then just potentially go back again. Now, there is still a chance. There is still a chance that the circle goes north, and there's also a chance that StarLadder won't be getting themselves as good a point grab that they did last game because Vac just got taken out by Benko.
That is not what they would have wanted here at all. But they did lose a player early on in a similar style of fashion last time around. So it's not all doom and gloom for them. There's certainly a team that can bounce back from it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, as good as Vac is, I mean, the fact that they got the points they did without Jambaway last game also is, I mean, Jambaway and Vac, I would say, I don't know if you could compare their play styles, but they're both very talented players, and whether it's losing one or losing the other doesn't always have to be the biggest factor. So as you said, you have clearly shown that 3 guys are enough, even 2, to get a lot of kills and points with it.
If Moleman can have the performance he had in the previous game, then he could just be soloing it up potentially. Now Vinco having a look around early on here. They're going to see lots of teams rotating in front of them, but do they want to be one of the last rotating teams, trying to keep teams from getting over the bridge? Or do they want to maybe get over and get themselves a good spot here? Time will tell. They need to make a decision fast as Moon got himself lined up.
He wants to
Crabby.
bait it.
Oof.
He wanted to bait it in. You can see he was kind of holding in the fish there, but they stopped a bit early. As I say that, though, did he just shoot early?
Yeah, Moonshot. He wants to try and take it long range.
Should have waited a little while longer because they just 180 and now they're going to jump out of their vehicles. Moon, you had to hold that one a little while longer. That could, instead of being 3 taps, have been a full spray down on a vehicle with 2 people in it.
I like it though, right? Because he realized that, oh, okay, I messed up here. And then backs away. He doesn't stand there for too much longer, which means there was a chance that Se7en might be able to take him down. And now Se7en will reposition themselves here. They're still waiting for Frank to come in. Vinco are very close by to them.
Yeah, they have rotated up towards the gas station, and there's a chance that they will indeed get into a fight in just a short moment. Now, Elgiganten didn't have anything but rotations going in the last game, got taken out as they tried to make their way up north, but this time around we see them on the far western side, out by the water. Might be able to find themselves some boats down in the area. Primos can sail on across. Nobody looted Prim, so yeah, should be plenty of room for everyone. Tarlans as well has made their way to the shoreline, but hasn't really committed to those boats just yet.
Yeah, I wonder what they want to do here, because they could get across quite nicely. There's still a lot of space down towards the south of military base. There is potential for them. And they don't want to lose it out to another team comes, rolls up on them, and they stand up fighting and losing players. Now would be the time to go.
Desperados have cut across early. We know they like to do this. They send Calvin over first. He'll be the one to look around, and then the cavalry comes afterwards. Normally he sits on the shoreline a little while to kind of protect them as they come sailing, but this time around, I guess they kind of just figured that there wasn't really any pressure coming their way, and then they made the rotation on over. PG making their way down towards the shoreline as well. VG, I don't know if they've opted not to go for boats, but they indeed are out by the water, and they're being spotted out by Se7en.
They're right out in the open. There's not really too much cover here other than the rock and that one tree. Se7en are going to try and take full advantage of it. That's a lot of damage done onto those Vinco players, and they are truly pinned down now.
They should make a band. You know what they should call it? Lonely Island.
Yeah. They can be the team on the Lonely Island, and they may be the only team to get across to the Lonely Island if Se7en continues to just shoot on towards them. Smokes will provide them cover for a little bit of time here, but that's all they're going to have. Now it's the game of, well, which way do we go from here? Because more Se7en players are coming out towards them.
You can start to wonder why they even went there to begin with. But the fact is that they did, and now they have to find a way to get off. Because the Se7en, as you said right there, have indeed taken up position in the shoreline on the northern side. And I'm not seeing them stay alive for a long time here, unless if they can start landing some really good shots. One already gone down. That's Tarlans from the side charming in here. Now, Art of War, thank you. I'm starting to do their damage too.
Art of War coming on the side swipe. Frank's going to go down straight away. And this actually helps out Vinco quite a lot here. Nade goes out as well from the Soda players.
That Exo gets a knock on towards Erangel as well. It's going to give them some sort of breathing room, but not a whole lot of it, because everybody knows exactly where they are, and you can't really do a whole lot to reposition. Blue has gone for the swim over towards the pier itself. Try and see if he can get into some sort of room to do some damage in return. And Soda is still on the shoreline. He's still inside a ferry pier, but he's inside a house as well, and very limited in what he can do to help.
Vinco under pressure though. Acerino goes down the hands of Buster, and Tarlans are going to find themselves another player to try and knock. Soda wants to try and get that nade pinned and thrown over towards some players as Memo. He's dodging bullets. He finds himself a tree to hide behind and will eventually be sprayed out by Buster at some distance.
Double nade coming in from Soda too. We talked about him not being in a position to help out a lot. Now he helps out a ton. By getting that double nade, it's going to help his teammates potentially make their way over towards the safety of the mainland. Of course, they will probably have to rotate over to that military island eventually. And also interesting to me that we have 6 teams fighting down here, and it's so open on the center and the eastern side. Soda does go down in return. Finish off comes in too.
Krabic with a well-placed nade. Is it going to go far enough? Won't land it, but another knock comes in. Tony cannot stay up for long, and there we go. Krabic manages to get the job done.
Art of War got themselves a really good 3rd place last game, but this doesn't seem like it's going to be a repeat of that performance. Rip trying to make a run on off, and Memo is by himself with just 10 HP here too.
Bit scary now for Se7en though. They've lost players. Buster is on the floor. Otherwise, he's got a little bit of a walk to go ahead of him to get him close to his teammate.
Oh, that's military.
Military all day long. 7 will be our first team eliminated,
That's
though. Art of
interesting.
War, they come in and get the job done.
Look at Swarm. They're like, oh, wait, they're all fighting over here. We'll just take that bridge that they were all technically fighting for to begin with, and then we'll just cross on over. No damage done. PG and Elgiganten are doing their best shot of a modern-day Pirates of the Caribbean, and, well, I mean, right now, Elgiganten has the better rotation as far as getting into that circle. Seems like PG will settle for the shoreline close up. Blue goes down, and that's going to be his team eliminated as well. Vinco, one rough game followed by another.
2 teams there in Se7en and Vinco that they had an idea early on, but it seems to just not react to it, right? We saw the 7 players try to go over the bridge and they fell back. They looked to try and hold on to the edge of the circle. Then we saw Vinco, who wanted to look like they were going to go across. They had time to get across over to military, and they decided against it. They wanted to hold on and fight more teams, and it hasn't benefited either of them. They're going to be our first 2 teams going out of this.
Yeah, not an easy way to start things off for them in this one, and also for Tarlans. I mean, sure, they got some kills, but now they're on the shoreline here. No boats accessible, and they have to make that cross on over real soon. Art of War, fortunately, did manage to get the rest on up towards Ben, so there are 3 players alive once more. Tony went down a little earlier. It seems like, seems like Memo and company will indeed settle for a little bit of a swim.
Yeah, swim is the only way they're going to be able to get across, but Tarlans are close by to them here. And that could be something they need to be wary of. 4 AK. No kills just yet, but they've got all the room to work with.
Yeah, they're split super thin. Oh, actually, they do get a boat. That is true. I completely forgot there's a boat spawn on the small island there, but they just couldn't commit to it before they knew for a fact that Talents were either in a boat themselves or had backed off, because you know how much of a stale target you become once you're sitting out there in the open.
You know, I thought Tarlans would have taken both by then, so that's really nice for Art of War. They were even managed to get a boat to play with here.
Yeah.
They're going for a different approach as well. Tarlans are going all the way around, down from the west down to the south. Well, Art of War jumped off the boat as soon as they could, got onto land, and will start to work their way in.
They got a sprint on forward. The circle's already closing in, and from the side they're coming in on, either they have to go for vehicles, and should this circle go further east, they have a long run to make either through military base itself, which would be pretty dangerous, or go all the way north around. And there's no way for them right now to tell how many teams settling on that side of the forest, or that side of the island, because, well, I mean, they've been fighting unfair up here for the entire game, so no info at all. They'll just be coming in blind.
Quickmath swimming across as well, but they are the last team to really go, so it's not a problem here. Stella have got to make their way across, but they're still in the blue, actually, all the way over towards Milta, over on the eastern side.
Yeah, Stella lost a player early to Art of War, and then they kind of settled with sticking around up there for a little while longer. Now they have to make their way across. They are, of course, only in phase 2, closing in, so it's not the biggest of a deal to them. Hitrick trying to find somewhere to play safe, but it's not really gonna happen. Seems like he's under fire, and in the end, Mailman will find him.
Hitrick was like, come on, this tree, can it just be a little bit wider?
Why did I eat a burger for breakfast?
The extra pound just pushed him out. He's like, this pixel's too much. Hold
Imagine
the
if
fries.
that was the thing, like the PG Tamagotchi thing, where you gotta keep your player, like your character, in a good shape too.
I'd be really unhappy with that. I have to struggle enough with myself, let alone my in-game characters.
Circle goes back into the land side of things. Military base itself is going to be wrapped in it. And that's, of course, going to allow for a lot of these teams to say, oh my god, at least we just crashed the city. Only thing being, a lot of them, we saw it before, have come with boats. And the whole crashing thing just doesn't really work as well when you're on foot.
Yeah, no, there's a fair few open areas to try and run across there. I think the teams that are coming from the north are going to be laughing now, because the south is the more clustered area.
Yeah. Indeed it is. And south is also normally where we come in with boats. So for everyone to run in the open there, it's going to be really hard. Now Swarm, they're meeting multiple teams. Havuki gets down one. Elgiganten gets down another, and that's going to be both of them finished off. Not the rotation they were looking for here whatsoever.
And Swarm had 2 positions now where it could have worked out quite well for them in terms of where they were in the circle in the first game and this game, and yet still find themselves not being able to deal with the actual firefights that go down.
Yeah, he called them into with the barrel in hand. For the longest of time, it was probably the most hated AR in the game, followed by the M16. But now, it has become somewhat of a favorite, at least in the competitive scene.
I love that from Ronnie. Tapping away, making sure he just pops the tires on these vehicles. He wants to make sure they cannot be used, and he is on point with it.
Yeah. Gotta try and take out the vehicle. Also, kudos to Arco to try and at least sort of save the vehicle for an inevitable rotation. But clearly shots were taken, and wheels were popped, so it's going to be a tough one coming in for them should they want to try and make their way on from here.
Every time they try to move, Ronnie's just there saying, nope, not happening.
Not gonna happen. Smoke's being thrown now. Probably should have been thrown a bit earlier. As far as saving their vehicles go.
That was really close as well.
Yeah. Only one kill though, 4 AK. This could be one of those games for them. Even if the circles keep going towards them, how much can they really see? How many shots can they really get towards players? Because everybody knows to be wary of these positions, and they aren't going to leave themselves exposed to them most likely.
Now, if I remember correctly, Toby, one of the military games we had was another one where Art of War did very well. They got them through into, I think, at least the top 6. So, military is a place that Art of War are quite comfortable to play in. It's on the firefights more so, given close range.
Yes, I don't think just drive forward. I'll just take the one in reverse. Reverse rotations. That's a thing now. Got to get in on the other side of that fence, though. Prone down. There you go. Safety.
Tog is like sat there thinking, how on earth did this even happen? Why was this allowed? Because Nemrif's going to take his teammate down. It's a knock for now. No finish off coming in. Nemrif gets the nade out. Tok trying to hold on to it.
That's a decoy play if I've seen one. Yannick really taking away their focus for a second there, and that is allowing both Nemrith and Naleb to make the run on up, and Tok is all by himself now.
Quickly turned around and turned against them as Noki will find himself being knocked, but again, Shaxi got to keep an eye on what's going on behind him. Both Phantom and Wago close by, looking to try and finish him off. Wago will get knocked down to the circle, though. He didn't have much health in it, so Phantom, he needs to put in all the work now, and this is where the pressure's truly on, because he is the last member left alive of 3D Max.
Good position for Mithralis to try and help out. You see Yannick crossed over once again. Fortunately, could drive on forward with the buggy there. Made his way into safety, got the kills off as well, and they now have control of the full side of the plane crash area. And now 3D Max down on the southern side. That's going to be one team out, but there's still a whole hell of a lot more teams to run their way on forward through here.
Art of War continuing to push in now. Quickmath got the northern side of this new circle, which is completely centered up, focused on the actual military base itself. So lots of little places where teams can hide, but also as soon as you have to move out of position, it's completely open airfield to fight from.
Also looking at the map, I mean, everyone's either on the south or the eastern side. You have the barracks, you have so many areas up on the western side, northwest side that are technically open right now. They just are not accessible for any of these teams trying to make their way in somewhere.
Yeah, you have to fight your way in no matter what now. That's the problem. If you weren't there before, now you're walking into the killing field, and there are plenty of teams looking out towards you.
And normally you have that bit of a buffer zone where everyone's rotating in. Once they get there, they have to get healed up, they have to reload their guns, all these things. But every team that is sitting here, they're settled already. They'll just be looking barrels out the windows, looking for more teams to rotate on. And Elgiganten do manage to get into what some like to call the toilet seats. I can see why that could be a name for these positions. And, well, I mean, for now at least. For now, they're safe, but we know that every time you peek over that top, a lot of teams can smudge you.
Stella still in it with 3 alive. Tornado Energy just working their way in, as you can see. Down in the south, we've got Winside, For Us, and Tarlans all fighting, but none of them inside the circle.
Yeah. One of them can stay in the south, I would say, with this circle shift in. I mean, you can have one team in that forest area down there. If you know your bag is clear, then you can just hide in the trees. But then that rotation next is going to be hard if you don't get a hard shift. So 2 teams down here will most likely guard it, unless if one of them do some crazy rotation into the field itself.
Northwest. It's got a good position to play from here. Sort of keeps his wits about him on anyone that may be pushing up. You can hear all the shots going around him. It's just having the information of where exactly are these players now.
Yeah. And one thing is, I mean, you can shoot at people, but also just knowing where they are for your next, for your rotations to come, that can be equally crucial information. Shaxi spots out Denethor in the open. Doesn't manage to get the knock on down. There you go. Little extra tap to the side. It's going to make the cut for him. Gifted and the Boom all by themselves, and they're getting contested on both sides now.
They're able to land one onto Moleman. That means Stella. Essentially to lose another player here. Kaz able to reply onto Tornado, so there's a multiple team fight going on at quite some distance.
Yeah, this always happens when the circle closes in. Those teams that are just on the edge have to make that push eventually, and it's going to take down most of them. Both Winside right now, and For Us taking a few casualties. For Us, though, getting out on the top of things in the end. Tornado Energy, they're making that run across the open field. Kofest, how far can you get? You know that there's a player up there, and Kaz, who's knocked just before, but how can you make this work for you?
You saw there for us, just trying to make sure they push out the circle as we continue to stay over a little bit more over towards this eastern side, but covering most of military base off here. Stella, our previous winners, will end up going down.
Yeah, they had a rough rotation in, and they are now going down in 11th place, 12th place. Yeah, Maga gets taken down, trying to prone it out. Vinco is still there to play it off, but he's gonna go down too. Lassa spotted out the first one, spotted out the second one as well. And as we talked about before, there was only room for one team down there, and for us were the team to take the spot.
There's only so much room you can have to work with, but for AK, they're looking to be the dominant force here in military base. It's centered up around them. They know about the teams that are close by. They've been fighting non-stop with it, but they haven't been able to pick up as many kills just because teams have had space to stay out of their way.
Now, do Desperados know that Kofist is right here? It's going to be interesting to see. See, example, he's looking over there as well. He knows he has Kofist above him. Millman gone down. I don't think there's going to be any rests coming in. He was kind of hiding in out down by the little tower down there. Nope, they did not know. They did not know indeed. Calvin goes down immediately.
Now Tornado looking to make up for their previous game. So Zero got the high round straight around to Kofest there. Despite what Kofest was able to achieve, his teammates aren't able to back him up.
No, that's the thing. Example, he was in a bad position to do anything there, and Millman was already knocked, so not a whole lot to be done. Example, though, I'll say, well, I mean, that's technically a short push to make, but in reality, a pretty long one, knowing that both Tercera and Coldamenta are looking in his direction. But from one bunker to another, it's possible, but it ain't gonna be easy.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? On the map, when you look at it, you think,
it's just
oh, that's
meters.
not far. But it's like, yes, it's far in the sense that every movement I take, they will be looking at me, and I'm right in the open.
Yeah, and if you could, I mean, let me put it this way: if you could pick out all the 64 players who you'd want to have shooting at you in that direction, Coldamenta and Sarcera probably wouldn't be the first two ones you'd pick, because they do tend to land quite a few of their bullets when they are starting to shoot in those directions.
I love this from Moonwolf, right? They are fully set up in here. They had to commit to it. They were held back by 4AK.
Was helping them, though. I mean, they're sitting on their bunker, outside it, just looking for teams.
So you guys make noise. That's fine. We'll distract away from where we are. As example, he can't stand strong any longer. It's going to be a 9th place again here for Tornado.
Not a whole lot more you could do there. Nemeth is trying to crawl alongside the fence on the outside too and getting his way inside the circle. It's not going to be easy. And now new circle. Where, oh where are we going to go? That crate is miles out in the open. No way in hell anyone's going to go for that. At least not right now. Circle pops. Center or not? Center it is.
So 4AK now. This is where they'll look to strike a bit more. 26 players left in it. 22 for them to find, if they want to pick up all the kills that are available to them. They've got the positions to do it from. As teams now start to move out, they're the ones who can come alive.
Now, Moonwolf has Washout on the other side, in the other bunker. He needs to play the most important role in somehow getting his team across. Because the Washout is inside the circle, the next one that is. Honestly, what you do here is you figure out who is the more expendable player. You take a vehicle, you kind of bait it out with it, and then you somehow, when you Washout, start knocking everyone on the other side, or just let 4us leave before they do.
Oh,
Gets taken down immediately by Nemeth. The solo player on the southern side says, well, I can't get a placement anyway, so I might just ruin the hopes for everyone else.
Nemeth must have just spotted that from a long time ago. Now he's going to make his way up, drop some smokes down. He's very cautious about being out in the open here. 4us start to shoot up on him. He's trying to return some cover fire, but it's not going to work out. He does manage top 8, but Nemeth, they're getting the job done, and that's 10 kills now for 4us.
They were harvesting on the southern side, and they're not done yet. Mithralius and Laza have made it across, but there's still a push to make. Is that Nate's going inside the smokes? I like the idea, Now, Moonwolf hasn't rotated yet, though, so Shaxi for now, at least. Nate's gone in vain. As I say that, though, I need to move in a little further. Could have been a potential kill. Shaxi does go down, though. Mithralius, what can you do in helping your friend here?
Yeah, Mithralius is just watching. He's thinking, okay, what can we get done here? More shots coming across. That's an easy one onto Moonwolf, and that's a really quick 2 kills for them to take.
Yeah, that did not take a whole lot of bullets in order to get that one blown off. Shaxi went down as well. 6 kills is what he managed to get before he went down. Arco was like, wait, wasn't there a car here at one point? Oh, they're on top of each other, damn it! And he just had to kind of surrender that one.
This gives us our top 6 teams now. 4AK, Elgig, Art of War, Quickmath, Desperado, and 4us. 4us down in the south, they've got a lot of room to work with here in comparison to some of the other teams.
We talked about Art of War and how tough of a position they were in earlier. They lost to one player. Memo was all by himself at one point too. But they've made their way, and now they're in a placement that they can clearly be satisfied with no matter the outcome of this game.
Get off to a start like they did, and they were fighting very early against teams coming in.
Wow.
Ooh.
Nate, throw one more, and that's going to be a knock coming in.
Blows everything up around him, but Ben stays alive. Smoke's going up, and they're still being very cautious here. Memo making sure he's having a look along this north extremity of the wall.
Next circle centers up once more, and you can see this every time Art of War stands up to do anything. They're continuously getting shot at. Memo trying to get an angle on towards Pelsish, but couldn't land the shots needed.
And Quickmath are looking like, how do we get into this?
These nades, man, they're just bouncing off the edge and jumps over the fence. That could have been them gone down so many times now, but look at the push coming in here. Misa, no helmet, trying to make the angle. That's not going to happen. Thank you. One bullet is all it took to get the first knock off there.
Headshot straight away. 2-Uo also takes a bit of damage from the blue, has to back. Going to try and get the revive in, but Ben working his way up forward. Peltzage trying to make it happen here. And good nade placement, was a little bit too far away.
Gonna get him low, that's for sure. Misa just threw a Molotov, goes down immediately after Rip, still alive, but he's gonna be the last player up for his team.
Comes down the side, spraying, and gets the job done. Quickmath, very smart. I really like the calculated push coming into it. Every single step was fought out, and they managed to stand strong. They're going to keep themselves now with 4 players left alive.
Never over-aggressing on anything, and despite getting players knocked, they took their time to get the heals back up. They knew they had the time to work around, and they had their numbers advantage. You have one guy holding, have the other guy resting. Take your time, do it smart, and that's the way you can stay alive with 4 players. Played it really well right there. Also, for a change, right? We've seen so many in Silencio camps. Having Quickmath 4 guys alive late game, that's a good one. Good change.
I'm never going to forget Insolenza. He was our first ever solo cam. Phase 1, the Insolenza cam was real. He was constantly trying to prone his way into the top 8 positions.
And he did. That was the good thing about it. They actually managed to do so. Now as we talk about Quickmath, though, they are indeed under fire. That next push might become too much for them to handle. But Elgiganten helping out a little bit and doing some damage over towards Desperados.
Trallius left himself in the open. Only one shot's managing to connect onto him. But 4AK, they know exactly what's going on.
Let's see, Elgiganten. This is not a spot you normally see teams fighting, but this factory has indeed become the shooting ground for a lot of them.
Oh, very nice there. 4AK and Desperados picking up 1 kill each and ripping apart the final members left of 4us.
There's no way in hell 4AK can have players knocked through the circle here. Seems like they just both made their way out alive. That's fortunate. Both Havoc and Northers like, oh my god, the circle's coming. We're on the top floor. Ah, get down and get out of the building.
Just running down the spiral. No.
They did manage to get down, though, fortunately enough. 4 guys alive. Military is theirs. Can they claim it, though?
It's a good position overall. They're the only team with 4 members left alive.
Gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed no one's sitting inside the tower. Up in the tower, because it's pretty much on the dot, right?
Yeah,
Imagine
really
sitting up there, just holding the ankle. That'd be interesting.
You'd get so much information to play off of. That's what Tozera's trying to do here, is he spots out Misse, trying to finish him off. He's like, come on, just come back into my open. Let me take you down.
Sitting up there, the VSS in hand. Oof, the dream.
The VSS is the dream. It's my favorite.
Hoaxstar got knocked, but he's back up on his feet. Good job in Elgiganten and keeping the dog on a leash. We can say that with a smile. He's a good friend, of course. But it was the thing, though. It was the thing 2 weeks ago when they were playing on Miramar that they did lose. It wasn't always Hoaxstar, but there was just like one player was always there. I can do this on my own without really waiting for your team. And we saw Quickmath doing it before, how well it works when you play it together. And right now it seems like Elgiganten are pacing this one correctly as well.
Quickmath losing players and Silencio still prone down as a teammate goes down behind him. Coldament has heard all this going on. He's looking to see if he can spot any players jumping around or potentially trying to get themselves into another spot in front of him.
No one's wanted to go out on the broken wall on the edge. The southeastern side, that is, or that would be at least, the The most center spot with cover, I guess you can say, according to that final circle, is really going to go on the dot. If anyone had been sitting inside the, like up on the actual tower right now, he could prone to a win if it doesn't get perminated, of course. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? What do you do here? It's going to be a smoke fiesta in the center. Everyone's going to be forced out of the buildings in just a short moment. First team to have to leave is going to be Desperados, followed by Elgiganten, and then I would assume Quickmath, or like a 4AK in the end.
Now, no one actually knows Insolento's there. He's not made any noise, but Mornage just seems to be getting closer to him. That does finally connect, though. Coldamental will get the job done. That's Quickmath out in 4th, and this is where things will start to unfold.
Yeah, nades are being used, all the smokes are being used as well, and they gotta make moves on it too. That's the thing. You cannot just throw smokes and sit around. You gotta make those moves on forward. Desperado is trying to take control outside, and it makes perfect sense the way that they're playing this one. Get those kills, force them inside, because there are only 2 doors facing this way. If they can take full control outside, whoever wins the inside battle, it's not gonna matter.
4AK are being picked apart here, already losing 2 players straight off the bat in these engagements, and that was because Hugstar came in and sideswiped them. So Zera trying to get himself up on the tower, trying to make this work, and he's able to get the damage done. Elgig go out in 3rd.
Nobody's expecting it, and Desperado's getting a 2nd place in the last game. Look at this position. He can do so much damage from here. Nobody's gonna anticipate it.
Trying to land the shots, a lot of damage being done. Nixties is finally able to return it. Coldamentor's looking to see if he can turn this into a 2v1 win for himself. If he had a nade now, it would be huge. But 4AK are going to have to push out of these smokes, and Coldamentor is just waiting for it. He is fully focused to see how this may go down. Another smoke pops out once again, and Coldamentor is just checking every corner, being very careful. It's going to come down to who gets these first shots off. He sprays through, he does land the first few shots. Can't get any knocks in play just yet, tries to get it done, but 4AK will take the win, and they'll get it done with 10 kills.
The military team wins the military game.
Finally, it happened for them. They can be happy.
Yeah, but a crazy ending to it. And gotta give it to the guys in Desperados. We talked about them coming into this day. They're a dangerous team. Getting 2 second places could have been a win there too. It's always tricky when they have the X-ray on, because we can see way more. It's not just, we can kind of see what's going on in the smoke. They cannot see anything. And I think what Zero maybe saw a shadow there, a little bit of an arm, and then it was just spraying through that smoke trying to land anything. Had he gotten that first knock on a player there, that could allow for Coldamentor to push through. He could help the angle. Could have been a different outcome. But then again, also got to get kudos to 4AK. They had that center position for the longest of time. Didn't allow for Elgiganten to push in. Chaos fight. They were fighting on 2 fronts. They